What's up, car audio champions? We're back again this week and we're checking out the all-new revised Taramps HD 10K. So this is the newer version. They did add that monitor level remote capability, so you can use that now base remote with the clip indicator and the remote all in one. So this does have double 1-aught inputs on the power side, the typical white aluminum case that Taramps has. They also did some changes on the inside, some updates. It's very similar to the old one, but they did add the monitor remote capability, and they did some upgrades to it to make it more reliable and robust on the internals, and we'll check that out later. But so this amp's about $700. I'll put a link in the description, and for the power that this amp should put out, it's actually not too big. It's just pretty much exactly 20 inches. Which for a 10K is pretty small. So that's the nice thing about these Taramps is you get like huge power and they don't need a lot of space. So you can see here it's just not even 9 inches wide too. So 20 by 9 is pretty small footprint for this size of an amp. But looks good. We're going to go ahead and do the full amp dyno on it, and then we'll get the back off and see what's inside. And maybe we can see some of those updates that they put inside on the board. And on the outside here, you still do have a power protect clip indicator light on the amp itself. And the monitor remote is separate. If you guys like the content, man, please hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. So here's a better look on the left side. And yep, I bumped it and broke the end cap. Dang it. And then here's the other side. Now you got your typical gain, high pass, low pass, and bass boost. And see, there's your monitor level input. And if your guys' amp doesn't say monitor level, it won't take that new remote. So keep an eye out for that monitor level. That means it'll take that new bass knob / clip indicator. So this is the monitor level remote. These are actually pretty affordable. They're only about $30. I'll put a link to these in the description as well. So you can use these with any of the newer Taramps that have that monitor remote, and it gives you the bass knob and the clip indicator all in one. So let's go ahead and get this thing hooked up and see what it does. All right, so we're starting out at 4 ohm certified, and certified basically stops the reading when it hits 1% THD. So that's basically the ultra clean power output. So we got 4,383 up to 1% total harmonic distortion. Wow, that efficiency seems great. We'll put a chart up later, but 324 amps for over 4,000 watts. Now we're going to reset and go to the uncertified rating. And the uncertified is basically the max output power up to clipping. So it passes the 1% THD and reads all the way up to clipping. Some amps do a lot more. Some do about the same. So we'll see what this one does. And so far the fans haven't even kicked on. So it's staying pretty cool. All right, so we got 4373, about the same. Uncertified, and basically what that means is it's just putting out its max power clean. Some amps that do a lot more uncertified, that means that they aren't able to produce their max power very clean. So when an amp does the same, that's actually, kind of a good thing. It shows that it's putting out its power less than 1% THD, which is good. So now we're going to go ahead and do dynamic burst. So this is short bursts, kind of simulating rock music, like if you have a kick drum, that hits every second or so. And this is what the amp can produce. It's real power, but it's what it can produce for short bursts. So some people get confused and think it's not real power. It is. It's just not. It's instantaneous. It's what the amp can do for a very short burst period of time. So we got a little bit more. Oh, there we go. A couple hundred watts more. So we got 4,420 dynamic. And if you strictly listen to rock music, this is kind of really the number to go for, because rock music doesn't have any long, drawn out sub frequency notes like rap or bass music. So, all right, let's move on to the 2 ohm test. So we're going to start with certified again. Get the meter hooked up here so we can see the max current draw. And I'm not running this at 16 volts or 15.5. I mean, I'm keeping it right around 14.8 to start. So this is not overinflated voltage. All right, man. 7,500 watts at 2 ohm, certified clean. And again, that efficiency looks good. Only 667 watts to get 7,500. Make sure you guys got electrical when you run Taramps because they always put out what they say. A lot of times, especially new people, they get confused because they go, well, I had a Boss 10K and it worked fine on my stock 120 amp alternator. And then they don't understand that when they go to an amp that actually puts out real power, it's a whole different ball game. I see that a lot, actually. Little bit more, 7,516. So again, that just means this amp's putting out its max power very clean because the uncertified rating is very close to the 1% THD certified. So very good. We dropped to 14.57. Like I said, I'm not running this at 16 volts or 15.5 trying to, run at a ridiculous high voltage to get power out of it. So this is putting out very good power. If you guys like the content, hit that subscribe button. Man, it really helped me out. I'd appreciate it. Let's hit it with some dynamic burst at 2 ohm. $7,605 watts. Nice. That is some good power at 2 ohm. And so far, I mean, I haven't even got to the 1 ohm test, but for about $700, it's kind of hard to beat these amps, man, for what you get. And it's nice that they updated them, made them stronger. Oh, 10,467 watts, 1 ohm. So it definitely hit the 10K rating. You can see the ammeter went over its 1,000 amp limit. So we drew a little bit over 1,000 amps. So you can see you guys need some juice to handle this amp. Now let's do uncertified. We're just sticking at 14.8 volts. 10,662. Nice. So this thing did great all across the board on power. For the size of this amp, for the price and what you get, it's pretty cool. I really like my Taramps stuff. All right, let's go ahead and hit the dynamic at 1 ohm and see what it does. Also, after this, I'm going to turn it down a little bit just so we can see that ammeter reading before it hits its limit. So here we go, dynamic burst, 1 ohm. And these fans on this amp are not coming on very often, which means the amp's keeping itself cool. 11,583 watts. Nice for $700. That is a good deal. That is a lot of power. I know a lot of guys have run these because this was one of the older Taramps models, the HD line, but they did revamp it and update it. It's nice that Taramps does do that instead of just keeping an amp and leaving it the same the whole time. All right, so I wanted to go turn it down a little bit just so I can keep an eye on that ammeter and see the current, just show you guys the current that this thing is pulling. See? A lot of current, guys. Make sure you got the juice. All right, here's the final results. As you can see, it did great. The efficiency was really good. Man, at 4 ohm, the efficiency was really, really good. And even the 73% is still good. That's about average for a Class D amp, like in the 70s, mid 70s, low 70s. So very good. The amp didn't go into protect once. It hit the certified and uncertified were very similar, which means it's very clean on the output. So let's go ahead and get the back off this, and I'll show you guys what's inside. Get these screws out of here. These are Torx. All right, so here's the insides of the amp. You can see the fiberglass sheets or spacers they put under the power supplies to add some strength and to add some kind of insulation between the coils and the board. So that's good. That was one of the updates. You can see they added some silicone too on certain things to help with, vibration problems. A lot of guys mount amps on the boxes and stuff, and when you got this much power, you're mounting an amp to a box, stuff could rattle. So very nice. There you have it. Well, guys, this amp did really good. As usual, if you guys appreciate the content, man, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I like that they added this new bass remote too. For so long, guys we want a regular bass remote, and they did it. So it's nice they listen to people. So you have the clip indicators, power protect on the amp, and you can use that monitor level remote that you can buy separate for about 30 bucks. I'll put links to both of these in the description, the amp and that monitor level. But yeah, I mean, not much to say. Very good. Passed with flying colors. Never once went into protect. And that is a big deal on a dyno, to never go into protect. A lot of amps, they'll hiccup a couple times, but didn't skip a beat. So obviously they're doing a lot to improve on these amplifiers and make them more stable. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button. Check out my website, HiFiVector.com, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.